So, Paul, when we're just talking and I'm not discussing the birds, you can go to me. But just tell me when I'm on.
Look in this, watch the monitor, something else might.
Say again?
Watch my RC. Come on. You're in the bottom right corner.
Oh. Come look what I'm looking at.
You don't see yourself? Right here.
That's what's live?
Yeah, that's what they're seeing. That's you.
No, they're not. This is. Hey, Scott.
Yeah,
We're seeing the restream chat up on the window, it looks like.
that's right. You're supposed to.
This is his screen. This is you. So if you watch this, you'll see where I'm at on the PowerPoint. Got it?
We'll figure it out as we go.
You don't understand that?
No. Because that looks like that's me on the camera. That's not the feed.
It's the feed. It's what I'm showing. Make sense? Watch it. See?
Okay.
See, you're in the bottom right corner.
Oh, I'm a little bitty in the bottom right corner. Yeah. Okay, I see it now.
Feeling good?
Hey, Scott.
Yeah.
Wade Pruney says all we see is the restream box.
Congratulations, Wade. That's right. I just did a little change. That's all. I thought it'd be fun for you guys to see your chats up on the big board.
So are we ready to go?
We're streaming live right now.
Oh, okay. So jump into your hello everybody.
I am sharing the program right now. Give me a moment.
Well, while Scott's doing that, I'll go ahead and get started. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today on the Wing. We're running a little bit late. If you consider 23 or 4 minutes a little bit, we're a little bit late. Broadcasting my portion from the studio, which is going to create a interesting piece of control of what's going on and doing a different way. So I've got my notes here in front of me, and Paul is going to be doing the broadcasting of the PowerPoint, and so I can't really sort of see it. So this is going to be an interesting little experiment to see how it goes. So Tariq, you are on time because it's 4:23 here and 24 now. So Scott's doing some work and sharing it online. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to On the Wing. And Paul, you want to go ahead and launch that? So welcome to On the Wing with me and Scott and me. And there we go. Okay. Yeah, now they're seeing it. So Paul, give it another click. Welcome to, click it again, On the Wing. We need to get some music put on this. So there's Scott. Hey, Scott, how you doing?
Yeah, I just changed up the scene sequence so that, normally I would just have a countdown with 5 minutes, okay? But I put the countdown with the widget showing the chats, because I thought that, that would be fun to do. And I do have a little video I could share if you'd like.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, let's do that.
Probably about birds.
Probably.
We tend to think of Mars as a dead planet, where all the exciting geologic activity happened billions of years ago. But information from NASA's Mars.
Taking a break is essential when traveling a long distance. Resting and refueling and recharging to face the journey ahead is really important. Think about that when you hear the travels of this tiny bird.
In order to fuel that flight, they have to feed like mad, and they have to increase their body weight, sometimes by as much as doubling it.
We found this piping plover feasting on tiny sandworms, insects, and small marine creatures along the shore of Rich Inlet near Wilmington. Think of North Carolina as a kind of rest stop for the piping plover. You'll understand why it needs a rest stop.
Things really get going in the fall and over the winter time when we have our migrating and wintering birds show up. And those birds nested further to the north, as far north as Canada, and are now coming south for the winter. During migration, though, we'll have flocks constantly coming through. They'll stop over for a few days.
Well, goodness, I don't know what happened here. I think we're going to get started with your program, Kent. We've had a couple of technical problems, but
So it was really weird. It looked like she was walking along.
she was going to talk about these birds. I'll try to play it after your.
It was really weird. It looked like she was walking along a dock, holding on to a boat as she was moving along. Because the camera didn't look like it was moving, but the way she was moving, I think she was walking. So that was really strange. So anyway, all right, here we go. All right, so up to on the wing. The first bird we're going to talk about, Scott, is one that everybody knows and probably most people have eaten, the American wild turkey, right? So the American wild turkey is a big old bird, a photo courtesy of Carl Bernhardt. He took this photo at the Mount Laguna campground, eastern San Diego. The wild turkey is a big old bird, 43 to 54 inches tall. Both sexes are the same size. You can tell the males from the females easily, even if they're not puffed up, because the males will, as they mature, grow a beard out of their chest. So if you think about where the breastbone is, the beard grows out of right there, and the older the bird, the longer that beard is. And jakes, which are the term for immature males, have a little stubby one, little barely sticks out from their feathers. So one of the largest, heaviest birds in North America. It's twice the size and 4 times the weight of a ringneck pheasant. These are really big birds, bigger than geese. Turkeys are overall dark colored. They have bronze-green iridescence to much of their plumage. Their wings are dark and with bold bars that are white on their wings. Very clearly you can see that here. Their rump and tail feathers are broadly tipped with rust or white, and you can see that both in this picture. And the bare skin of their head and neck varies from red to blue to gray, and that changes seasonally and with migration. Paul, let's go ahead and play the video. Yeah, there's sound. Oh boy, so we're gonna have no sound today, it looks like. So, turkeys sound like this. I've actually called turkeys with that, and they were stupid enough to come towards me, because they just get really mad when there's a really goofy sounding turkey. The problem is hens make purrs, sort of a sound, but I'm not going to do any more sound effects because people will quit watching the broadcast. Go back, Paul. There we go. So you can see the range map of the United States, mostly all over the United States, down into Mexico, and a weird little loop up into the Pacific Northwest, and then down the western coast to where Carl got a picture of this turkey. I think it's a young jake. You can barely see what looks like a beard sticking out just in front of what would be its left wing. So turkeys, as most people probably know, travel in flocks and search the ground for nuts and berries and insects and snails and things that make up their delicious diet, and which also makes them mighty tasty if you enjoy turkey. In early spring, males gather in clearings to perform courtship displays. That's where we see them puff up and they drum the ground with their wings and their tail feathers spread, and they puff up all the feathers on their body and make themselves look huge. And they strut around, giving their characteristic gobbling calls. And people may not know this, but at night, turkeys, which can fly, very well, not like a songbird or something, they can fly. At night, they fly up into trees and to roost up in the trees in groups. And one way to find out where a turkey is in the morning before daylight has come is if you make a crow call a lot of times or a really loud noise, a turkey will gobble back at you and you know where the turkeys are located. Now, turkeys in the Rocky Mountains, which this is going to be one, even though they're on the western shore, tend to have whitish tips to their tails and rump more so than other wild turkeys. And the other populations generally have rusty or chestnut tips to their tails. If I remember correctly, there's 4 subspecies. I meant to look that up and make sure I got it correctly, but it's the Rio Grande, the Eastern, the Rocky Mountain, and there's maybe a Florida species, if I remember correctly. So you can find them in mature forest because acorns make up a whole bunch of their diet. Hickory nuts, beech interspersed along the edges of fields. You see them along roads in woodsy backyards. After being hunted out of large parts of the range, turkeys have been reintroduced into their natural range, and they are now again numerous around the country. Males provide no parental care. When the females are they both sit on the eggs, and once the eggs are hatched, the chicks follow the female, who feed them for a few days until they learn to scratch around and find their own food. As chicks grow, they band together in groups composed of hens and their broods, and winter groups sometimes exceed 200 turkeys in that flock. And interesting enough, and I didn't know this doing research for this, turkeys can swim. They tuck their wings in close, they spread their tails, and they kick the water, and turkeys can swim. I've seen swimming deer, and I saw a swimming black bear once in Beaver Lake, but I have never seen a swimming turkey. And interestingly, when Europeans arrived in Mexico in the early 1500s, they found the native tribes, the native people, had already domesticated the American wild turkey into a domesticated animal. The only other North American domesticated animal is the Muscovy duck. So that is the wild turkey. Paul, did you figure out a way to pump the sound? Yes, there is. That's a video. 100% I played it. Okay, so anyway, moving on. So we have no sounds today. The tree swallow. Next one, please. There we go. This tree swallow, beautiful picture by Carl. And I didn't put the picture to the back. So these birds are streamlined sparrow-sized birds. They're 4.5 to 6 inches long. Streamlined, as I said, they are a songbird. Have long pointed wings, a short squared and slightly notched tail, as you can see in that fine picture that Carl gave to us. Their bills are short and flat, which gives us a clue about what they're going to eat. They're not going to be nutcrackers or breaking open nuts and seeds. These are insect eaters. Adult males are blue-green above and white below with, and there's 3 or 4 pictures here, Paul. I think you saw that. There's a couple really nice pictures here after a little bit. Blackish flight feathers and a thin black eye mask. Let's stay right here on this one a little bit. Females are duller with more brown in their upper parts, and juveniles are completely brown above. So this is clearly I'm going to say a male, not a juvenile for sure. Juveniles and some females can show weak, blurry gray-brown breast band, and don't see one here. So I'm going to say this is a male. Tree swallows feed on small insects, aerial insects, and they can catch in which they catch in their mouths in their acrobatic flight. Like all swallows, they are very acrobatic and swift flyers. After breeding, tree swallows gather in large flocks to molt and migrate, and in the non-breeding season, they form huge communal roosts. They breed in open habitat such as fields and wetlands, usually adjacent to water. They nest in artificial nest boxes very easily because they are a tree cavity dweller. And if we go on to, I think, the last picture, we'll call the next picture. There we go. There is one in a tree cavity. These pictures were taken in the San Jacinto wildlife area in California. Let's see, got lost here on my notes. They are flock foragers and seen swooping over wetlands, water, and agricultural fields. They can supplement their diet with berries such as bayberry and myrica shrubs during the breeding season when they need extra calcium to produce the eggs. The females search through backyard compost piles looking for pieces of eggshells to eat. That's one way to attract them to your yard. And if you live in the breeding range, there's a good chance you can attract a tree swallow by putting up a nest box. Make sure you put it up well before breeding season and attach a guard like all nest boxes to keep out predators, generally raccoons, possums, and snakes. You can find on your favorite search engine plans to build tree swallow boxes. Migrating birds form ginormous flocks numbering in the thousands. They gather before sunset and form a dense cloud above roost sites, creating what's been called a living tornado. And with each pass, more birds drop down and settle into the roost. I have seen this here locally where chimney swallows go down into chimneys. It's very cool to watch them in that swallow tornado until they're all gone. Bats will do the same thing in the mornings as well, going down into the roosts. All right, so that's the tree swallow. So let's go to the next picture. We only have one of the next picture, and it's a shame we don't have the sound because the next bird, technology, got to figure out what we're doing. So is the California scrub jay. This is a very raucous bird. It's 11 to 12 inches long, making it a little bit smaller than a crow, between a robin and a crow. It's got a rich azure blue, as you can see in the picture, has a gray band and a blue head with a white eyebrow bar and a black eye patch. It's got what amounts to a blue necklace. In birds, the color blue depends on lighting, so California jay scrubs can look simply dark when the lighting is wrong. They're very assertive, vocal, and inquisitive. You'll often notice great scrub jays silhouetted high in trees on wires where they're acting as lookouts. In flight, they seem underpowered and slow with bouts of fluttering, alternating with gliding. You can look for scrub jays in open habitats, open woodlands and chaparral, and along the west coast, and in backyards, pastures, and orchards. Typically, though, they are in drier habitat than the stellar jay, which we had looked at a couple of weeks ago. I think we had a stellar jay that had was enjoying a bag of Trader Joe barbecue chips. So you can see here on the range map that the California jay is clearly a West Coast species right there. So the calls made by the California and the Woodhouse's scrub jay are hallmark sounds of the open West. Some 20 kinds of calls have been recorded, and one of the most memorable descriptions comes from naturalist W.L. Dawson in 1923. No masquerader at Mardi Gras has sprung such a cacophony device upon a quiveringly expectant public. Zweep, easy weep, zweep, zweep. It curdles the blood as it is meant to do. That's a lot of description for, what is a cool sounding bird. So you might see, this is an interesting tidbit. If you're in mule deer country, you often see scrub jays standing on the backs of the mule deer, picking off ticks and other parasites. Around here, we'll see cattle egrets do the same thing. And they'll be holding up their ears to give the mule deers actually hold up their ears to give the scrub jays access to the parasites in their ears. So, Scott, who do we have with us today?
Well, let me see if I can play a scrub jay for you.
So, heard a crow back there in the background, and one of the few video clip or audio clips that we get that don't feature a red-winged blackbird in there as well. So, probably not around a lot of water, which you got to have for the red-winged blackbird. So,
But who
Scott,
we have with us? You asked us who was here today, so
yep.
let's recognize our audience here. We have Mike Wiesner is on, Billy's Astro. We've got Harold Locke, Wade Prunty. Beatrice is on with us. Hello, everyone. Oh, good. I didn't miss too much. I was entranced with my work. Must be intense work, Beatrice. Annie Scarborough, she's with us, sitting back there. Tarek and Wade Prunty. And I guess it was good that we were late because a lot of other people would have missed the show. And Paul Burgard is on. He says, howdy, bird people. Tarek says, not much birding in my area and getting busy with Astro so much and life in general. I believe I'll never do birding then. I did find some places which I posted on, birding in the UAE. I don't know if any of those places are close to you, Tarek. And who else here? Lots of conversation back and forth. American Meteorite Fan is on here. He says, I'm near the San Jac Info Wildlife Area. Is that San Joaquin in California? Never seen this one, but see lots of others. Okay. Tarek says, in my city, there is nearby for flamingo birds. I don't know if it is still there or flamingo just left because of taxes and VAT happening. All right. And who else is on with us? Tarek says, I think about that Ras Al Khor sanctuary one day. I will ask about requirements so I can make that visit a life memory. And American Meteorite Fan says, I used to have blue herons that came to eat the gophers in my yard. Watching them wait over the holes was fascinating. I guess you need more gophers if you want more blue herons. So
that'd be great video.
Yeah. So anyhow, that's cool. San Jacinto. That's right. In California, and I lived in California too. We we shorten all the freeway names and, you know, areas and stuff like that. You know, the San Bernardino freeway, we called the San Bernardino. Why, I don't know, you know, so that's the way it is.
Yep. Clearly, this will become the Sanjak. You know, it's what, you know, which is how Carl sends it to me. He just now says at Sanjak, you know, and I know exactly where he's talking about when he sends me, you know, the location of where he got them. So
Right.
Scott, go ahead and cue up a yellow rumped warbler while I talk about it.
Yellow,
Yellow rumped warbler.
yellow rump warbler.
Rumped warblers. Here we go, Paul.
Yellow.
The yellow rumped warbler, if it comes up, I'm not seeing it. Nope. I see Scott moving. I see me, but I don't see it. There we go. So the yellow rumped warbler is a beautiful bird. It's 4.7 to 5.5 inches. So, you know, sparrow-sized bird. In summer, both sexes are a smart gray with flashes on white on their wings and yellow on their faces, sides, and rump. Pretty good description. There's great variety, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. Males are strikingly shaded. Females are duller, and as in most bird species, and may show some brown. Winter birds are paler brown with bright yellow rump and usually some yellow on the sides. In summer, the yellow rump warblers are birds of the open coniferous forests and edges, and to a lesser extent, deciduous forests. You can see they are basically ubiquitous across the United States and most of Canada, down into Mexico, Central America, and the northern islands in the Caribbean. So, you know, a very bird in North America, you can see a lot of places. In the fall and winter, they are found in open woodlands and shrubby habitat, including coastal vegetation, parks, and residential areas. In other words, everywhere. Yellow rumped warbler is the only warbler able to digest the waxes found in bayberries and wax myrtles. This gives it the ability to use these fruits, allowing them to winter farther north than other warblers, sometimes wintering as far north as Newfoundland. So, the warbler has two distinct subspecies that used to be considered separate species. The myrtle warbler of the eastern United States and eastern Canada's boreal forests, and the Audubon's warbler of the mountains west. The Audubon has a yellow throat. In the myrtle subspecies, the throat is white. So obviously this is a Audubon warbler. Excuse me. Yeah, the myrtle. No, throat is yellow. Yeah, so let me read this again. The Audubon has a yellow throat, so that's an Audubon warbler. Audubon warblers have more white in the wings than the myrtle warbler, and female Audubons have less distinct marked faces, lacking the dark ear patch of the myrtle warbler. So hard to remember this stuff. You have to study it a little bit and try and commit it to memory. There are also indeterminate forms where occur where the two subspecies range overlap, such as in the Canadian Rockies. So much like the chickadee, the black-capped, and the Carolina chickadee, there can be interbreeding that causes weird combinations. Yellow-rumped warblers are perhaps the most versatile forager of all the warblers. They're the warbler you're most likely to see flutter around from tree to tree trying to catch insects. And they're also quick to switch over to eating berries in the fall. Places have been spotted. Warblers have been spotted in some places foraging, including picking at insects on washed up seaweed at the beach, skimming insects from the surface of rivers, ponds, and oceans, and picking them out of spider webs, as well as grabbing them off piles of manure. Scott, did you get a yellow rumped warbler?
Well, I did find a YouTube video of this. It was on a birding website, but they did not have any songs from the yellow rumped warbler.
So go to YouTube and put in Autobahn Warbler and see what that produces.
Well, I found a yellow rumped warbler on YouTube, and this is a video by Garth McElroy. Wildbirdvideos.com is where it's at. So we'll give him credit here, and then let's see. Let's play this.
From that picture, you can see why it's a yellow rumped.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the same video I found. So there we go. Can't hear very well on that sound. There's not a lot of sound out there that I can
No,
find.
it's pretty quiet actually.
Yeah. So that is the yellow rumped warbler, which, as we can see from the original map, is pretty ubiquitous around the country. So we're moving on to the ruddy duck, R-U-D-D-Y duck. So Scott, you can go ahead and start queuing up that. There's a couple of good videos. This picture was taken at the San Jac Wildlife Area in California, and I misspelled California, it looks like there. So these are either female or immature ruddy ducks. They are not the colorful male ruddy duck, which Scott will find a video of and we'll see it here. The male has a very, very red back and a crazy blue bill. Small compact ducks, they're 14 to 17 inches, so between a robin and a crow. Not as big as a mallard, but still not a tiny little duck like green-winged teal can be. So they are stout, scoop-shaped bills, which marks them as aquatic feeders. Long, stiff tails, they often hold cocked upwards, just like you can see in the picture there. Slightly peaked head and short, thick necks. Male ruddy ducks have blackish.
This flashlight can burn through anything.
I can't say it. Blackish caps that contrast with bright white cheeks. In summer, they have a rich chestnut body with bright blue bills. In winter, they're a dull gray, brown above and paler below with dull gray bills. Females and first year males are brownish, somewhat like the winter males, but with a blurry stripe across the pale cheek patch. In flight, ruddy ducks show solid dark tops on their wings. And I think this is the only picture of the ruddy ducks, isn't it, Paul?
It's the last slide.
Yep, okay, this is the last slide. So ruddy ducks are divers. That broad, flat bill is the mark of diving ducks, where they feed on aquatic invertebrates, especially midge larvae. They feed most actively at night, so you'll often see ruddy ducks sleeping during the day, head tucked under, wing and tail cocked up. They're a marsh nester in areas around ponds and lakes. Primarily, they nest in the prairie pothole region in Canada and northern tier of United States. In migration, they flock to large ponds, rivers, and lakes, and gather in coastal estuaries, where they frequently mix with other diving ducks, such as buffleheads and goldeneyes. I don't think we've had pictures of buffleheads or goldeneyes. Both of those are spectacular ducks in their own right. Just beautiful birds. The males are spectacular. Anyway, ruddy ducks, ruddy ducks, lay big white pebbly textured eggs, which are the largest ducks which is the largest of all duck eggs relative to body size. That makes these eggs energetically expensive to produce. They have to feed mightily to make the eggs. but yet because the eggs are so large, the chicks hatch into very well developed ducklings that require only a very short period of care before they're off on their own. The brightly colored and odd behavior, I'm going to sneeze. There's something in here I'm allergic to. I'm convinced of that. The bright color and odd behavior of male ruddy ducks drew the attention of early naturalists, but didn't pull any punches. Okay. So one account states its intimate habitats, its stupidity, its curious nesting customs, and ludicrous courtship performance places it in a niche by itself. Everything about this bird is interesting to the naturalist, but almost nothing about it is interesting to the sportsman. So, sportsmen hunt ducks during the day. This is a duck that sleeps all day and eats all night. So, chances of being on the bag of a duck hunter is probably pretty slim. And being a diving duck, they are not the best tasting duck out there either. I once heard a recipe for diving duck, Scott. It's for mergansers and other ducks, and it was you get a cedar shingle is best, but an oak plank will work as well. And you pluck the duck, and you slather mayonnaise and mustard, and spice up the duck with your favorite spices. And then you cook it in an oven. I can't remember. It was you cook it in an oven for like 35 minutes at I think it was 350 or 400 degrees. And when the duck gets crisp, you throw the duck away and eat the board. That's a recipe for diving ducks.
So in other words, don't eat them.
It's an acquired taste. I will say that.
Yeah.
I know that from firsthand experience, and I have not acquired the taste.
I see.
So let's
Well,
play.
I have the call or the song or from the
Sound.
Ruddy Duck in audio, and I could play that right now. It wasn't much, okay. And I have.
They make a really
video.
weird sound, Scott. They splash when they make the sound. They have a sort of a weird little. They make sort of a quack, and they have this really bizarre sound at the end of it. There's a red-winged blackbird. That little boop, that was it. That's it.
That was
right
it?
there. Yeah, wait. That little quack is it.
Oh, look at
Or
that bill.
chirp.
Blue color bill.
Is that not crazy looking? Here, watch the video.
Yeah,
It
it's
starts making a
beautiful.
little bit more sound here in just a second.
Huh.
There we go. There we go.
That is cool.
There's an odd sound.
I like it.
Okay, so there we go. So you might as well scroll. Let's go ahead and play the sounds of the first two birds that we did. You'll find some good wild turkey videos. You got to go down 5 or 6, Scott, on the YouTube list to find one. of
Wild
just
turkey?
Wild turkey. And you got to go down 4 or 5 to find a video where it doesn't have a voiceover on it. So I'll make an alcohol joke here. If you have enough wild turkey, the police will arrest you. The joke being that there's a brand of whiskey called Wild Turkey. So while you're queuing that up, we can talk about if you're in the northern or southern hemisphere and out of the tropics, this is a prime time for birding because migration season is in full swing right now. Lots of birds are heading north and south back to in the northern hemisphere, to their summer breeding grounds. And in the southern hemisphere, they're flying north to their winter grounds in the tropics. And so in both locations right now, it's a great time to be out birding and getting birds that you won't see except during the migration. And so now is a good time, especially in the morning and evenings, to get out. I was camping last week, and it rained almost the whole time. It rained, mist, cloudy. It was just not good conditions. And heard some birds, was not able to really identify them. And there was a large flock of vultures that were roosting in some sycamore trees, and lots of crows were in the neighborhood as well, but standard winter birds from around, the central Ozarks, cardinals and chickadees and titmice and things like that. You found it, Scott?
Not yet. I found some, but it's like, as you say, they're very, let's see, wild turkeys in Audubon, New Jersey. Let's try this. That's not it.
do, 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 do.
Okay,
There we go.
this is pretty good.
Okay, so see that bird right there? You can see the beard hanging down from those chests. Those are young jakes. Oh, something's wrong with the sound on that.
Yeah, it's because they've slowed down. There we go.
Nope. Still.
Nope. Don't know.
Yeah, that's a flock of young jakes.
wrote and called
Yeah,
this
go back. What?
This is not working.
Hey, just put in wild turkey. Hang on. Go back to that screen, Scott.
No, what's happening is that it's not projecting the sound very well. So
It's not pumping through. So
Not
I think
pumping
most
through.
people know what a wild turkey sounds like, And tree swallows make a high pitched sort of buzz, trill sort of sound. So maybe try a different video. Although,
yeah, I'll just try for an audio. Let's try that.
yeah,
So
are you doing wild turkey?
these are supposed to be wild turkeys. Yeah.
Should have brought my mouth call. Lonnie was here. The Game and Fish Commission volunteer at the Game and Fish Commission Nature Center here in town. There we go. That's a gobbler. And then hens make a purring, sort of a cluck and a purr sound. And there's a whole repertoire of sounds that turkeys make. They're a fun bird to watch if you have a flock that you can see. It's fun to watch them feed in the spring, and when the poults hatch out and go running through, following mama through the woods. It is a really cool thing to see. If you get a chance to do that because it's just cool to listen to them and watch those birds go about their lives, because they spend most of the day on the ground, so they're walking around, and there are hunting seasons on this bird, and people go to great lengths to try and bag a bird and go. It's a lot of work, and they're very smart, wary birds. When you're a bird that lives on the ground, and you have to pay attention to your surroundings. So, otherwise Mr. Coyote or, something else is gonna get you. So anyway, that's the show today, Scott.
Okay. All right. So we had a number of technical problems, but we actually did it anyway. So there you go.
You've got to just jump in with both feet at some point and just go to do
That's
it
right.
and
That's
find
right.
out what the problems are and like figure out why the video didn't come through to Paul when it should have, but didn't. Yeah.
He'll
So,
get it figured out.
yeah, we'll figure it out for next week. We'll
Yeah,
test.
just do a practice next time and
Yep.
make it all happen. So
I'll just sit and figure out how to send the same video and the same PowerPoint slide and go on down the road.
all right. Right.
So anyway, any more comments from people, Scott?
Oh, lots of comments. Kind of an interesting one here. Let me see if I can find it again.
Hey, Paul, would you give me that eyepiece over there? Yes, sir. I could have gotten it. I'm sorry. So, Scott, while we're here, we might as well talk about the flash sale that's going on, eh?
Okay.
So, Explore Alliance members can buy a high quality 70-degree, not waterproof, Explore Scientific or Bresser. They're the same eyepiece, just branded differently. A 25 millimeter 70. I'm being a moron. I'm looking at the screen. I was making sure I was showing it well on the screen and not on the camera. It's Explore Scientific 25-degree or a Bresser 25-degree eyepiece. I think the retail on them is $99. We have them on sale.
It's a 25 millimeter, 70-degree apparent field eyepiece.
Right, 70-degree apparent field of view eyepiece.
That's a nice wide apparent field.
Right.
It's a great low power eyepiece. It's great for galaxy hunting. We'll give you a very large field of view, true field of view through your telescope. So, what you would do is just calculate, the magnification, which, all of you that are amateur astronomers know how to do. And then what you would do is you would take that magnification and divide it by the apparent field, and that will give you true field of view in degrees. So
the flash sale goes through Monday. I think it's what I've gone with. And the price, Scott, is pretty darn good. It's $50.
$50. Yeah.
$50.
Yeah.
There'll be shipping on that. Obviously, we have shipping stages, and if you go ahead and spend $250, you'll get free shipping in the continental U.S. and there's other shipping charges to go other locations. But one of the keys, and boy, this is a difficult key, you have to be an Explore Alliance member. So if you just buy the eyepiece, we're going to make you an Explore Alliance member for free. So that's a pretty easy way to just buy the eyepiece and you'll become a member of the Explore Alliance. Or if you're not a member of the Explore Alliance, here's a little secret we don't tell a lot of people about. We'll talk about it right here on this broadcast right now. You can join the Explore Alliance for $99.99 as a platinum member. Lots of benefits of that. But one of the cool things is, and this is the secret, Scott, we don't tell a lot of people. That's not true. We tell everybody, but we'll act like it. Is when you register, we send you a $100 gift card in return. That's good for anything on the Explore Scientific website. So if you wanted to, you could call into customer service or send us a support, get into our customer service portal on the website and say, hey, I want to buy an Explore Alliance Platinum membership and take advantage of that $50 eyepiece. And we would then send the eyepiece. So we'll take you $100 for the membership. We'll apply $50 of that gift certificate to this eyepiece right here. And then we'll send you a gift card for the other $50. So it'll be $50 plus shipping. So probably $40. And so you then get a $40, whatever the balance is, gift card to use for anything here on the Explore Alliance or Explore Scientific website. So that's a benefit of membership that we're going to offer. You buy it, we just give you the membership. It comes in this standard plastic screw top case, screw bottom case. Does not come in the colorful Wiltirian box that the other Explore Scientific waterproof eyepieces come in. So to say it again, this is a 70-degree apparent field of view, 25 millimeter focal length eyepiece, and it is not a waterproof. It's water resistant, just like every other eyepiece out there that's not waterproof. Obviously, you don't want to dunk it underwater or let it get rained on real bad, but dew and things like that won't hurt it any. But it is not nitrogen or argon purged and sealed. So, what you got, Scott?
Okay, well, American Meteorite fan shared an interesting story. He said a baby raven fell out of the nest once, and my dog hurt his wing. So I patched him up, but the parents came by the porch until he healed and then taught him how to fly.
That's cool.
That's really cool.
I've tried to tame down some crows before, and just not. I've been able, back years ago, was able to get them sort of close to me, but they just never would, come up and, But I've had friends that have tamed squirrels, and I've seen people who have tamed, wild crows and become friends with them and call them down out of the woods. So that's pretty cool. But I've never. That'd be cool to create a raven friend that's completely wild. And it had to be a cool feeling to save that bird.
Yeah,
To
absolutely.
rescue it from the dog. And then the parents.
Apparently,
teach it to
some
fly.
birds are just, destined to to their fate. He shared another story. He says a crow got hit by a truck in front of my kids once. Thinking I could do anything, they begged me to save him. I gave him CPR and he came alive. And then he just flew right in front of another truck.
Oh no!
Man.
And I guess the second truck must have been his ninth live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think all of us have stories about trying to save some animal from, either it was abandoned or hurt or something like that. I used to live on a farm, and we saved birds and rabbits and all kinds of stuff like that. So,
my wife's grandfather would mow hay, and it tore him up so bad, and he had an old sickle mower, right? With just a bar and those teeth that go back and forth. And after I met him, I was up one day at the farm, and he was baling hay from the backwards, from the inside out, not driving backwards, but he was, instead of driving on the tractor on where he's already cut and the sickle cutting, this hay, the next round of hay, he was doing it the other way around. He was driving in the hay and then cutting. And I asked him why he was doing that. He said, and he was a deer hunter, and he said he got so tired of injuring and killing fawns that were laying in the grass that he finally decided he was going to do it backwards so he could stop and see, so he would either flush them or see the fawns and have time to stop. And he just couldn't, it just tore him up to do that. And, here's a guy who raised cows and, was a hunter, but it just tore him up to know he was, killing fawns with his hay, with cutting hay for his cows. And, apparently hard people certainly have soft spots in their hearts, for wildlife and things like that.
Of course. Pekka and Beatrice had a conversation about writing in chat on our show, and that that they Pekka said I need I basically I'm paraphrasing, but they're doing their best to write in English, which hey I'm very impressed that anybody can learn more than a couple of languages, so But when I lived overseas, I probably told this joke before. The joke is what is someone can speak 3 languages? Well, he's trilingual, So, and what's somebody can speak 2 languages? He's bilingual. And what's somebody can speak 1 language? And
An
that's
American.
American.
Yeah.
So.
An American.
So Beatrice, Pekka, and anybody else in any other country that's writing
Tariq.
into our chat.
Tariq is a great example.
We are blown away that you can write in English and carry on conversations with us, and we love it. So
yeah, I'm good.
Nothing to apologize for at all.
In most cultures, there's 3 very important phrases you need to learn. In Spanish, it's dos cervezas, por favor. 2 beers, please. Taco y burrito, taco and burrito when you're ordering food. And donde es el baño? Where's the bathroom? If you have those 3 phrases in whatever language, you can survive, so.
Well, you always want to be able to say hello and goodbye and thank you, at least, So.
Yes, and hello and goodbye. So 4 phrases.
Of course.
That are critical.
Of course, and that's not so difficult, but
I am Scott. I'm like you. I can't speak Swedish or I can't speak Belgian.
no,
I can't.
Yeah.
I once upon a time I could say a few words in Arabic that involved cuss words from my fraternity brothers, and I will not say those words that I remember to this day.
no.
So, at least on this.
When I worked in Taiwan for a while, I could speak a number of Chinese words and some phrases and stuff like that. That was, and they're still in my head. I knew that I was getting better because sometimes I would have dreams where I'm speaking fluently in Chinese. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
When you start thinking in Chinese or dreaming in another language, that's become pretty embedded.
Yeah, I think that probably people that are multilingual do that, So I was getting to the point where I would be able to do that, but you have to speak it all the time.
Scott, I was in the newspaper business my whole career, and I was the editor, theoretically, and publisher of a Spanish language newspaper. And one of the editors left, and the editor left, and I had to put out that newspaper for, I think it was 8 months until we hired the right person, because we liked to hire the right person. So I was putting out a Spanish language newspaper, and I can't read or write Spanish, or speak Spanish. I can read Spanish if I look at and get the context and tell you what the context is. And the way I did it was I would get stories written in English and send them to one guy who was fluent in Spanish writing, and he would translate it, and then he'd send it back to me, and I'd send it to another guy who would then edit it and send it back to me. And that other guy wrote stories, and I'd send them to the other guy. So that's how I got through with it. But one day I was sitting there working along, and I realized that I was writing photo captions in Spanish in my head. I was thinking in Spanish when I was writing the cut line.
I think that's when you start to,
And I realized, wait a minute, did I just
so to
do that?
speak.
It was pretty cool. And so the guy we hired, after he said, I can't believe you did that. He said that's impressive for a guy that doesn't really speak or read English or speak or write Spanish to be able to pull that off. And I said, it was just management. It was nothing else but management. But it was cool when after about 6 months, I started writing in Spanish. It was real cool. It just sort of happened.
That's cool. That is cool.
Yeah. So anyway, but people like Tariq and Beatrice and Pekka
That's
completely
awesome. That's
amaze
awesome.
me in their
We
ability.
love it that we have an international audience. So, so a question from Wade Prunty. He says, do you have to use a promo code in the cart to get that sale price on the eyepiece? It's $99 on the website.
So it still hadn't gotten changed?
Still not changed.
It'll change. It'll change. I'll go talk to the web guy as soon as the broadcast is over with. It'll
Okay.
change.
All right. So by this afternoon, I think you'll see it.
I'm just going to go change it myself here in
Okay.
just as soon as we get off the show.
Sure.
Because, it was supposed to say, got to be an Explorer Alliance member. We'll give it to you for free if you buy the eyepiece. So I'm just going to go do it and be done with it.
Just go do it. That's right.
Yep.
Go do it, man.
Take the bullfrog by the horns.
Yeah. Robbie Keene says, after having a perfect time to see turkey vultures, because they're attracted to everything that got cut up, like the rats, mice, and
Oh, yes.
he's
turkey
probably
vultures-
talking about the harvest,
Ba-
right?
Baling hay. Yeah. When you're baling
Baling
hay,
hay. Oh
there's
yeah.
an astounding number of generally, rats and field mice and voles and moles and, it doesn't take very long for turkey vultures and crows and then hawks to come partake of the buffet that's created.
Right. And let's see what other. So Tarek says, which third language should I learn now at 42? Well, you got English. You have your native language. I would recommend Chinese, actually. It's probably more Chinese spoken in the world than any other language. So
It's the third most spoken language in the United States, I think. English, Spanish, and Chinese, I believe, is the third one. I looked that up, I don't know, a few months ago. We were talking about languages somewhere. Chinese, Spanish would be another one.
And Tarek says, honestly, people, are you guys okay about me being around here with you? I'm not good about communication, really. Tarek, I would not know that from all your chats. I think you're just fine. We're glad
Hey,
you're here.
This is an open community. If you want to be here, then you deserve to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's room at this table for everyone.
Well, almost everyone. There's some people that have come on that post questionable websites and stuff like that.
They're trolls.
Yeah, the
They don't
trolls. No,
they don't
we're not-
want to be
not into
here.
Trolls.
They don't want to be here. They just come here to cause trouble.
Harold Locke says, my feelings exactly. Multiculturalism is great and necessary to understand that people are people. In addition, we all came from the same place and are ultimately cousins. That's right.
When we look up, we all look up at the same sky.
That too.
We see the same stars. We're from the same stars.
Speaking of bird photography, this is from Aeon. Just recently had the swan migration pass through where I live. Yeah, hopefully you'll like to send in some bird photography, Aeon.
Post the email address, Scott.
I will.
Explore Alliance at explorescientific.com. We would love to have your pictures from wherever you live. Around the world, it doesn't matter. It broadens our horizon and shows us the amazing diversity.
Harold Locke says, last night on Astro TV, Tarek was the spark plug of the night, including Beatrice. That's awesome. I'll have to go back and watch it. And Aeon says, it was really neat. I got some okay shots of them on the ice and a few flying overhead.
Send them.
Yeah, let's see
Send them. Look, you think they're okay, but they're pictures we've never seen before. Most of us probably haven't seen, I don't know where you live, but, you're okay is my spectacular. If you took them, we want to see them. I mean,
Sure, of course.
We want to see them. We'd love to share those pictures with our audience because it gives us the ability to talk about a bird we haven't talked about before.
Precisely. Okay, well, I think that's it. Ken, is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap
Nope.
up the show?
I just, I've I've really started paying attention to birds more. I hope this is causing other people to as well. I'm glad we started this segment because birding fits in well with astrophotography or going to sports or anything else. There's birds everywhere, and don't miss out on the beauty and the gift of song that they give to our ears. So,
Yeah.
yep.
Tarek is saying he would really like to watch an episode about herons.
We have some pictures of herons. I can put together a heron show. I can do that.
Beatrice says, I think I have more bird pictures on my hard drives. I'll look them up and send them on to you, Kent.
I'd love that.
And American Meteorite fan says, I've got videos of the raven learning to fly. That would be totally cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Send us the link to the download, and we'd love to share that. Absolutely.
All right, guys. So thank you very much. Thanks for watching On the Wing. And tomorrow we'll be back on with Tyler Bowman on Focus on Astrophotography. Have a good night.
Okay, so I'm gonna go figure out why that didn't.